Okay, so welcome to yet another video from Generational Wealth Traders. Now, in this video, I am going to be, sharing with you or showing you how to identify difference between a pullback and a reversal. Obviously, if the trade is moving in one direction, if the market is moving in one direction and it reverses, you want to be able to catch it as early as possible. Well, yes, that is one of the strategies that I trade, and obviously, I know you might want to know about that. On the other hand, it could be the trade is going in one direction, it pulls back only to continue. You also want to know, it's very important. You want to be able to know or identify the difference so you will know how to trade accordingly. Okay, so this is a chart on gold, the 1 minute time frame. This is basically what I was able to find, to appropriately, teach this particular, um, do this particular teaching. It happens to be on a 1 minute, but it could be any minute, it could be any minute, any time frame, should be fine. No, okay, so let's start from here, for instance. Let's start from the bottom here at the left-hand corner. So the price is going up, going all the way up, and at some point it reverses, whereby it begins to now go in the opposite direction. So we see here, price is going up, and then it reverses, yes, with a pullback, continuation, pullback, and continuation. So that's one of the things that does happen in the market. The market never goes up in a straight line, whereas on the other hand, you also have the market doing a pullback. So there's this upward move and there's a pullback before it continues up. That is a pullback. So you can see the pullback here. This pullback did not quite take out this last upward candle or bullish candle. It basically just, goes like halfway. Let's do that. I mean, if you consider the range of this candle, if you consider the range of this upward push candle, let's call it that. I'm going to be using those terms: upward push or downward candle, upward candle, bearish candle, bullish candle. So if you consider, this particular candle, there was a pullback. The price got so far and it pulled back before continuing. It did not come below it. It did not come lower to take it out. I mean, eventually, this candle took it out, but at least up until here, it only came so far, maybe like 45 or maybe even 50%, let's say 45% pullback of this candle, and it continued. So when it comes to a pullback, when it comes to the market, the pullback could cover, it could just be a pulling back, and not taking out the one candle. It could be a pullback whereby it's not just a pullback relative to one candle, but a pullback relative to a move, a swing. If you say this was a swing, if you say this was a swing, let's take this one. If you say this was a swing low, the pullback is relative to the swing, as opposed to this pullback relative to that one candle. So just to know the difference, the pullback could be in relation to one candle or it could be in relation to a swing. All these are terminologies which you need to become, aware of and comfortable with. There are times when a pullback, could be big. There are times when it's shallow, be a deep pullback or a shallow pullback. That's for another video. But here we see when price got to this high after having, come all the way from the bottom here, it basically began to reverse. How do you know when it's going to reverse? Now, jumping right into that, I would say consider the last upward candle, the last bullish candle. As the price is going up, it got so far and no further. You would consider the low of that candle. When price breaks below it, then you can begin to think of a possible reversal being in place. That does not happen all the time, but that's one of the ways in which you can identify a possible reversal. Let me see if I can quickly find an example. Because there are times when, okay, take this for instance, take this candle, price started here, went up, came down. As a matter of fact, you can consider this as well. Price went up, and this being the last green candle, this red candle took it out. Did it continue down? No, it only took it out, as in closed below it, before it continued up. Also, if you think of this candle, after this last bullish candle, other candles formed, and this one eventually took it out, closing below it. Did it go much lower? No, it was not exact. It was not a reversal. It was just a pullback. It pulled back deeper or lower before continuing up. Yes, eventually it now reversed, but what I am saying is a candle could be taken out. It doesn't mean that the price is now going to keep going in that downward position. Okay, so let's go back to what we were considering here. Remember, we are considering the difference between a pullback and a reversal. Like I was saying, if there is going to be a reversal, the last bullish candle, an uptrend, would have to be taken out anyhow. Whereas if it's in a downtrend, as you see, the price was coming down here, the last bearish candle would have to be taken out, including the wick, the body of the candle and the wick. That's the whole of it would have to be taken out before you consider, but there are other strategies that would teach you how to actually trade a possible reversal. That's not what we're focusing on today. We're basically focusing on the difference. You can obviously go on and build a strategy around, the break of the last bullish candle or the break of the last bearish candle. By the way, I might as well just quickly throw that in. One of the ways you would trade the reversal is a break and retest before price eventually continues, if it is going to continue. There are going to be times when it breaks below the low of that up candle and it continues all the way up like we've seen. So that's what to look out for. That's a reversal. When you now begin to get, a break of that candle and it now becomes a case of a swing high, swing low, swing high, swing low, that's a reversal in place. There's what we say when, how do you know a trend has it has developed? When do you know a trend has formed? When you have a high, a low, a lower high, lower low. So we have two highs. We have two highs. There's this high, there's another high, and then of course we have a low and a lower low. So two lows and two highs. That traditionally is the definition of a trend. So when you have two highs and two lows, it means a trend is in effect. Okay, so how about a pullback? We have now considered, a swing low, about a pullback. How about a pullback? Watch this closely, guys. Watch this closely. Let's move this away. The price is going up, going up. No obvious pullback. The price is going up, going up, going up, going up, going up. No obvious pullback until the price gets here and obviously you have a series of red candles, a series of bearish candles, making it, well, in a very distinct way. It's very obvious this is a pullback before it continues. There are other pullbacks here, but they are minor. There are other pullbacks here, they are minor. How would you know there was a pullback? Now, one easy way is obviously, there are times when it's going to be an obvious pullback. Other times, it's not exactly a pullback. It's more or less like a pause in the move. So the price was moving up. Now, because we have a red candle, an opposite colored candle from what was, predominant, you will call it a pause, unless perhaps it is quite significant, whereby you have a series of candles in one direction, as we do have here. So one tool on the MT4 and MT5 platform, and some other platforms as well, including TradingView and all that, is what we call a fractal. A fractal. If you want to get a fractal, go to this the menu under Bill Williams, and you can see there, click on it, and I have chosen mine as magenta, and you can see it's formed all over the chart. Let's take it off and do it again. You go there, it's now here, or you go to Bill Williams, fractal, this helps you identify when there is some sort of pullback. It might be a shallow pullback, might be a deep one, but it helps you identify, pullback. It also helps you identify swing in the market. So the price from here is going down. It creates or paints this last bearish candle, and price takes it out as a swing. When there's a swing high or swing low, a fractal would be formed here. A fractal usually, would, identify the lowest of the candle or the highest in a particular area. In this area here, this is the relative low candle. That's the relative low candle. That's the relative high candle. Guess what? When we're talking about relative high and lows candle, we're usually considering the lowest candle in an area or the highest candle in a particular area. Around here, this is the lowest, price is going up. Around here, it's usually, three candle formation on, at least on the MetaTrader platform. One, 2, 3, that's the highest one. 1, 2, 3, that's the lowest, so on and so forth. So that's one of the ways in which you identify or you tell a pullback from a reversal. I hope this has helped. Like I say, you can, with this understanding, develop a strategy around trading those concepts and terminologies. One of the things I teach, my mentors and students, if you are wanting to know some more, feel free to, reach out to me via Instagram, or Telegram, mainly Instagram and Telegram, or send an email, and I should be able to respond to you. Okay, now until next video, God bless.